Week 19 of the 2023-2024 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back NBA Week in Review, LA Lakers edition. I'm Brandon Sparks, writer at thepeachbasket.net. This is the show where we recap the week that was for the LA Lakers and then highlight their marquee matchup for the week to come. Let's start by taking a look at where the team lands on the Peach Basket's objective power rankings this week. The Lakers overall remain at number 17 on our power rankings, so no change from last week. They finished the week off at 2-2. The Lakers remained at the number 10 seed in the West Conference and are half a game behind the Warriors for number 9. The surprise loss this week was to the Suns. I thought the team would perform way better against the Suns without Bradley Beal, but players like Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen really stepped up to beat the Lakers. The Clippers game was incredible. What a surprise win. Without Paul George, the Clippers were dominating going into the fourth, and the king himself, LeBron James, by himself outscored the Clippers team in the last quarter to squeak out a win. The Wizards game, I don't even want to get into that one that much. It's kind of disappointing that we had to go to overtime, even with Anthony Davis having a monster game, finished with 40 points. The Wizards game is a prime example of the supporting cast and the bench just not performing at all, with only Spencer Dinwiddie providing more than 6 points off the bench that game. And that continued into the Denver Nuggets game, which was an absolute treat to watch. Yet again, it always is, especially for my birthday. But it ended in almost the exact same fashion as the last matchup, with a late run by the Nuggets to outscore the Lakers 10-0 in the last 2 minutes to win the game. The Nuggets always find a way to beat the Lakers. We play our absolute best. Our starters were absolutely incredible. Austin Reeves had 14 assists. But once again, the bench did not show up. Not a single player off the bench scored more than 5 points. So I think that is something the Lakers need to look into going into next week. Let's look at the top performers. Let's look at the best to do it in each key category for the Lakers this week. LeBron led the team in points with an average of 29.8, which is kind of crazy. He also led the team in three-pointers made with 3.5, mostly thanks to that ridiculous Clippers game. LeBron had 12.3 field goals made on average, which was also the most on the team. Anthony Davis averaged 13 rebounds in Week 19, along with 2.5 offensive rebounds and 10.5 defensive. And the rest of the team just needs to step up on the rebounding. Davis is the only one putting up great rebounding numbers for the Lakers, and it was very clear that the rebounding was a problem in the Suns game, where the offensive rebounds for the Suns were so much higher than the Lakers. LeBron James had 9.5 assists this week, which is insane that he could have averaged a triple-double this week at his age, with just a few more assists and rebounds. Davis was a monster on defense this week, which is no surprise, but he provided an average of 2.8 blocks. LeBron and AD both led the team in steals with 1.5 each, and the best game score average for the Lakers this week goes to LeBron James, who had 25.9. Now let's go into the week ahead. Week 19 is yet another tough one for the Lakers, which is really rough considering how hard the team, and especially LeBron, had to play just to squeak out the wins in Week 18. It starts off against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Monday, then a matchup against the Sacramento Kings, and on Friday, the week ends with a game against a red-hot Bucks team. Sunday also has the Lakers playing the Timberwolves, but that is for Week 20. After such a tough Week 18, it is a miracle that we ended the week 2-2. All it took was a stunner by LeBron in the Clippers game and an overtime win against the Wizards. Week 19 is just as tough as the previous week, but hopefully the team can pull it together to possibly move up in such a stacked Western Conference. The Thunder have been a team the Lakers have beaten a few times this season. Despite how great the Thunder have been, they've been the top 4 seed in the Western Conference for the majority of the season. So continuing that win streak against the Thunder is a must. The Kings have been without De'Aaron Fox the past few games, so without him, there's little chance the Kings beat the Lakers. but it cannot be ruled out, of course. Sabonis and Monk gave the top-seeded Timberwolves an overtime game that they won, even though Anthony Edwards left mid-game for personal reasons. I believe he was having a child, so very understandable. The Bucks have been on fire recently. They've been blowing teams out left and right. Doc Rivers might have finally found the formula to win with Milwaukee. We were calling out the Clippers back in the day where they were losing games when James Harden came to the team, and with a few adjustments and Russell Westbrook going to the bench, they figured it out. So it might have just been an adjustment period for the Bucks, and now they're playing good basketball. But we will see when they play the Lakers on Friday. And without players like Vanderbilt around to help play tough defense on Giannis, it's going to be a tough matchup no matter what. The Lakers in general are struggling mostly due to their bench production. The last two games have proven that, with players like Taurean Prince, who were supposed to be a spark off the bench, has done nothing. He had, I believe, 3 points yesterday, and then less than 5 points the game before at the Wizards. So the bench unit really needs to step up, or else the Lakers are destined to be a bottom play-in team, and they're going to be stuck at the 10th seed, and we don't want that. I see the Lakers going 2-1 this week, losing to the Bucks. I believe we can beat the Kings if De'Aaron Fox does not play, and even if he does play, I believe we can squeak out a win there, as Anthony Davis can provide some good defense on Sabonis, but we will see on Wednesday. And for the Thunder game, we've beaten them the last 2 games we've played against them, so I think we will continue that streak. Let's move on to full court press. I'll end with a quick look at Lakers news. We call this full court press. I just type in Los Angeles Lakers and see if anything interesting and worth talking about comes up on page 1. Today, this article caught my eye. Why the Lakers struggles against Nuggets are getting worse, by Dan Woik for LA Times. I read this a little bit, and just how every game the Lakers play against Denver, they keep it close, and then at the very last quarter, last minutes of the game, Denver just wipes the floor with them. And a couple quotes stood out to me. In 3 games this season against the Lakers, the Nuggets have dominated the fourth quarter, scoring 153.1 points per 100 possessions. This is the highest fourth quarter efficiency for the Nuggets against any opponent this season. Another quote, Denver's net rating, which is the difference between points scored and allowed per 100 possessions, is 25.7 in fourth quarters against the Lakers this season. So it's very clear that the Lakers just can't figure out what to do against the Nuggets down the stretch. And it's something that both Austin Reeves and Davis pointed out in the article. There's a quote here that says, they do the same thing and they beat us with it every time. So yes, we're getting closer as far as the first, 42 minutes or 44 minutes. And then that last 4 minutes is just them getting to do what they get to do. Or no, it's just them getting to what they get to. And they make us pay for our mistakes, like I said. Granted, they make tough shots, but they get to it every time, and you know it's coming. So it sounds like there just needs to be some coaching adjustments and figuring out how to stop the Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic pick and roll combo that absolutely dominates in the final minutes of a game. And almost every team struggles with that. It's a deadly combo that ends with points almost every single time, just because of how great they are at passing and shooting and everything. And the supporting cast absolutely feasts when the defense is so focused on that pick and roll with Murray and Jokic. They had Michael Porter Jr., who was 10 for 10 last night with 25 points, and Aaron Gordon also played an amazing game. So it's only looking worse for the Lakers, almost. But if they can figure out that fourth quarter, we might be able to pull out a win. but it's looking rough. And maybe the return of Jared Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent might help us a lot, but they aren't that big of difference makers, especially against the Denver Nuggets. So it might be a let's pray we don't meet them in the playoffs type of thing, because if we do, it's not looking good considering we lost to them the last 7 matchups. So yeah, great article, great analysis on the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers and why we struggle against them. Give it a read. And that's it. Week 19 of the Lakers 2023-24 NBA season is in the books. Join us next week after week number 20 when we once again run it back.